How goes it, Commanders? My name is Foxphorus, and welcome to my Armory guide on Girls Frontline 2 Exilium. Today, we'll be covering the different functionalities of each of your dolls. I did briefly cover the necessities and how to strengthen your dolls in the intro guide. However, I'll be recapping that information here, as well as going more in-depth as to what the roles are for each of your dolls, and how it will later factor into the gameplay. Firstly, to view the information on each of your dolls, let's go to the refitting room. We shall be using Wawa here as an example. To figure out your doll's characteristics, take a look at the top left of the doll stat sheet. From here, you'll be able to see what class the doll is. It will say either Bulwark, Vanguard, Support, or Sentinel. These classes are essentially just Tank, Flanker, Healer or Shielder, and DPS respectively. So, for an example, Wawa here is a Sentinel. Going over each of the classes, let's first go over Bulwarks. Bulwarks are basically the tanks of GFL2. They typically have high health and defense, and can usually buff the sustainability of fellow dolls, as well as having the ability to do counterattacks. As of right now, there are only 2 Bulwarks on Global, those being Groza and Sabrina. And there are only going to be 2 more on CN currently, being Andoris and Perry. So unfortunately, there aren't that many options for your choice of Bulwark. The next class are Vanguards. These are essentially the flankers of GFL2. They specialize in being able to travel vast distances within a single turn and being able to do burst damage. Then they also are able to do multiple things in one turn. Typically, these are melee units. Currently, on Global, there are only 4 Vanguards: Krolik, Vepli, Orid, and Dayan. And CN also has Xiaohui, Chihua, Feihi, and Belka. And, sorry if I butchered those pronunciations, I suck at those. After that is the Support class. This class specializes in healing and buffing their fellow dolls. The best examples of the supports currently on Global are Kasena, Suomi, and Satoresi, and the best upcoming supports being Mekti, Springfield, and Vector. The last class are Sentinels. These are the main DPSs of the team, with the highest damage output. The best current Sentinels on Global are Sharkri, Tololo, Cheongju, and Macchiato, with the best upcoming one being Kluke, who will also be buffing Peredia just from existing. The next way dolls are able to differentiate themselves is what ammunition type they use. Currently, there are 5 different ammunition types: light ammo, which is for handguns and SMGs, medium ammo, which are assault rifles, heavy ammo, which are for snipers and LMGs, and then there's shotguns, which are for shotguns, and lastly there's melee, which is for melee. Shocking, I know. You can see what ammunition type a doll is classified as well as their weapon type at the bottom of the stat sheet. The last major way a doll differentiates themselves is what element a doll has, called a phase element. There are currently 5 phases in GFL2, being Burn, Electric, Freeze, Corrosion, and Hydro. You can see what element a doll has if you look at one of the doll's abilities, and you can see the element symbol on the bottom left. You can also see if an ability does physical damage, shows if it has the ammunition symbol on the top left of the ability. For the ammunition type and phase element, if they attack an enemy that has those particular weaknesses, they will receive more stability damage. So you want to try to bring dolls into battles that the enemies are weak to. This isn't an absolute necessity outside of like the Gunsmoke, but it is something that can be helpful in general content. If you'd like to sort your doll list by any of the major classifications of dolls, on the bottom left hand side of your screen, make sure the doll list is unfolded and then select the diamond symbol. From here, you can filter your list to show any doll with a particular set of characteristics. Underneath a doll's name, you can see a more specialized role that particular doll has. For example, Wachan here, you can see her main role is a single target damage dealer, as well as having first strike, meaning that if she or a teammate is attacked, she can preemptively shoot them first before they do any damage, compared to somebody like Groza who has counterattack, which would be after the enemy does damage. These will give you a general understanding of what a particular doll is used for. So, for example, somebody like Wah here, she's really good in situations where there are multiple attacks targeting her teammates, as well as just saying fuck that one enemy in particular, for example a boss. Meanwhile, somebody like Peredia has wide area, meaning she's really good at hitting a lot of enemies in an AoE. On the top right hand corner is your doll stat sheet. From here, you can see the exact details and attributes of your doll, as well as what they are weak to. You can also tap on any individual stat to get a breakdown on where the total value or percentage is coming from. You can also tap on a special attributes to see if your doll is getting a more specialized buff, such as a particular element boost or resistances. One of the best ways to boost attributes of a doll is by utilizing fixed keys. These are found right underneath your doll's abilities. From here, you can equip what are essentially boosters for your doll. The first thing to know is that there are two classifications of fixed keys. They can either be universal keys or exclusive keys. Universal keys are equipped on the right hand side, and these keys can be swapped between any one of your dolls. These are typically earned through gameplay such as events. Now for the fixed keys, these are equipped on the left hand side. These keys can only be used by one particular doll. These will typically add bonuses to one of your doll's abilities. You can get these fixed keys from progressing through a doll's Neuro Helix and using basic info cores, which you get these either once a week from boss fight or through things like the event shop or daily login bonuses. Also, progressing through the Neuro Helix of a doll will increase their attributes on the enhancement nodes using transcription conductors. You can get these conductors from doing things like events, however the best way to get them is through farming the neural survey of that particular tier of conductor, or by crafting a lower rarity conductor to a higher rarity one in the item craft menu. The next thing to note is that there are 4 tiers of fixed keys. There's the blue tier, which are the weakest and usually just add a small boost to like crit or health and are typically universal keys. Then there is the purple tier, which can either be universal keys that offer a bit more boost to the attributes in the blue tier, or they can be doll's fixed keys which helps boost a particular ability. Next is the orange tier, where this tier key gives one more attribute type increase compared to the purple tier keys, and these can be obtained through events. Finally, there are unique keys, which can only be obtained once you complete a doll's Neuro Helix. The reason why they are unique is because they greatly boost one particular attribute. However, each unique key has a special ability that's attached to them, similar to a doll's exclusive keys. However, these can be equipped on any one of your dolls, making them universal. Some of these unique keys can be very good on other dolls, so it can be very beneficial to try to progress through the Neuro Helix of every single one of your dolls so you can get access to their unique keys. Another major way to enhance your doll's attributes is through weapons and attachments. In the weapons menu, each weapon has its own ability. For example, Watchand's signature weapon here, Bittersweet Caramel, has the ability to increase freeze damage as well as the damage increase when dealing damage outside of their turn. This will be enhanced through a higher calibration rank. Then, on the bottom right hand side, you can see what attributes a base weapon increases, as well as the trait it comes with if it's equipped on the doll that prefers that weapon. For example, on Bittersweet Caramel, the trait will only be active if it is equipped onto Wawa. Now, on the attachments menu of a weapon, if you have any attachments equipped, the bonuses will be shown on the left hand side. This will show every single attribute that is currently being increased across all your attachments equipped on a weapon. As for the resonance type, you want to try to match all 3 attachments of the same resonance in order to get the effects of it. For the most part, DPS dolls like to have Phase Strike as their resonance, with some preferring to have their specific element increased, such as Wawa and Tololo. Meanwhile, for healers, they typically would like to have the emergency repair resonance. For each of the attachments, when you first get one, there is a base increase amount, shown as a white horizontal line on each of the stat bars. When you calibrate attachments, this value can either be increased or decreased depending on the calibration of the attachment, and this amount can never go into the negatives. So even if a particular enhanced stat gets decreased, it will still be an increased value compared to if you didn't have that attachment on at all. The first calibration will always increase every single stat, and further calibrations will be random on whether the stat will be increased or decreased. To calibrate an attachment, just tap on that attachment and select Calibrate. From here, you'll use undesirable attachments that you don't want as XP, as well as use gold to have a random chance of upgrading attachments. You can also use precision boost chips to help with your calibrations. What they essentially do is just take anything that's lower than 100% and just bring it up to 100%. So if you really want to roll high on calibrations, don't use them as they take a lot of gold to use. In the future on Global, we'll have a way to be able to guarantee a stat increase for our attachment calibrations. This feature is only just released on the CN server as I'm making this video, so it may be a few months for us on Global to be able to get this. And with that, you now know how to determine a doll's functionality, as well as how to increase a doll's combat effectiveness. So, hopefully you can see your dolls do some big funny numbers. I hope you have enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, or if you would like to join our Discord, you can ask anyone there and everyone will be willing to help you. You can also join into my Twitch streams where I stream most days at 7 PM Eastern Time, unless some certain AIs want to mess with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the frontline, Commander.